like to speak as soon as the video comes on, just to let you know I'm here instead of just sitting there like in the lost. But I do wait for people to join in. So welcome to my page. Welcome to my journey through my everyday oracle, my everyday goddess oracle cards. I am bringing up on my phone. If you're as always returning and joining me, welcome back. And we are going to be on card 10. So I am just waiting for people to come in to let the room fill up a little bit because the energy changes. So let's see. I want to make sure I'm on. I'll check my phone. I do watch both. Hi, Gail. Hello, hello, hello. So today I'm a little bit better than I was yesterday. Slowly getting back to work. I managed to answer a few emails today. Got that far. Hold on. Adjusting my camera. There. So I did manage to get a few emails in. Still has not got to booking everybody in, but I'm getting there. So takes a lot of energy. I did have to drive into Edmonton early this morning. The roads were so bad. Well, they were nothing really on them, but this cold weather is crazy. So I did drive into Edmonton, got my injections put in my spine again to help with the spinal issues. So I'm back and I wanted to get my card in. So if you're wondering where I was this morning, and for anyone who's watching later going, hey, you weren't on in the morning. I was not on this morning. But I am getting back. I should, let's hope that I get to stay in now and continue to be here. So this is my card. This is what we're doing today is we are doing, I am pulling my card. I'm not ready to come all the way back to do a whole evening of mediumship or anything yet. I actually had an event this weekend and we had to reschedule the event that I was going to be doing online because I just don't have the energy yet. I'm not fully back to myself and I'm honoring that. So we're getting there. But I figured I'm like, why am I not putting my cards up on the screen? Why am I not following my friend Lisa Star Francis? And I'm like, we learn from each other. And she's put her cards on her screen on the split screen. I'm like, why am I not doing that? Why am I holding up my cards? So no, Franz, you didn't miss me. I was at an appointment this morning. I had to get my cortisone injections put in my spine to help me be able to stand up. But I'm back. So I'm just letting people join in. The weather is definitely still cold here. It has warmed up some, but it's still cold. So I'm in, like I said, I'm going to come in today. We're going to talk about card number 10. And this is the Observer. This is Shelta. And so we're going to talk about Shelta a little bit today. But there's so much magic in Shelta. And I was just taking pictures, what I do of my cards, just to let you know, like how connected I get with these cards and how much I invest into what I do and what I teach is when I channel stuff and I take pictures of my work and I sketch things out and I draw charts and I write things out and then I write and rewrite and like I just ask for continual messages to help me be able to have clarity, to understand more of what is being asked of me or what is being created through me. I live in awe. And this card is such a beautiful representation of how much awe I live in. I live as if I'm blessed every day, that this is my life, that I get the opportunity to do this work, that I get to be here. There's changes and there's things that I make. The business keeps growing. What I'm doing and how I'm working is changing a lot and has changed a lot over the past year. More changes coming. The amount of clients I can actually work with is definitely not the same. This is how many clients I would take in a day. I would take 8 to 10 clients a day, hour-long sessions, 7 days a week, plus I would still make time to 5 days a week, plus I would still teach. And so that got a little bit exhausting. So in my journey in recognizing that we're not just here to be of service to one person at a time. We're here to be of service to the collective, to like the overall energy, to be able to start to make a change. And so right? And so the cards are really cards are a real representation of the work that goes in, and it's not just about just to have a deck of cards out there just to say my name is on something. It's to channel it through and trust it. That we're not looking for perfection, and that I really channeled that through this morning. So this card is beautiful because the observer. So now that we got a few people in here, I will start. So, what came to me this morning with the card, the Observer? This is from my Everyday Oracle. So this is my cards. I own this deck of. I'm the creator of the idea of the channeled sketches that went with this. The artwork itself is the creation of Amelia Richard, who owns Art by Amelia. I have very bad internet. I don't know what's going on, but it's coming in and out there. And so she took my sketches and brought them to life. And in in these cards, you really have to look in because there's so many things that is within the cards. And when you look really, really close, I take pictures. So when you take pictures, you can see in pixels something more than what you can see by even just looking at the card itself. So I take pictures and then I zoom in, and it's amazing. So being an observer to what is happening in the world right now, to be an observer, to be a channel, to be a mystic. And I say, there's such great contamination of the mind of maybe some of the greatest workers out there when we get our sense of what we want interfering in what is a need of time, and how a lot of this is like so designed outside of us, and observing, to be an observer. So if you learn to observe yourself, if you learn to observe your own behavior, learn to observe everything that's happening, it's amazing what you get to witness. And so in healing, we say we make ourselves the witness. If we're doing healing, who are you witnessing the change? Like you are the witness in your story. So you are the person, or in the hero's journey, you are the main character. So everything comes back to you. So this card was a true creation of everything, of finding that place of of belonging but not belonging. It was about breaking barriers. It was not being a part of, so kind of like in the past 2 years, as everything started to unfold with movements and shifts and people wanting you to jump on bandwagons and to be in support of this and be in support of that and take this side or that side. It takes a lot of strength to say, no, thank you. No, thank you. Um, I'm going to stay listening to what I'm hearing here. And there's so much to observe and so many things. There's so many pieces that are flying around us. So much information, so much stories, so many lies, so much half-assed truth, so many things that fly around within our lives. But that's our whole journey. And it's about being able to stand to stand in to stand in the midst of it all, to stand in the eye of the storm and say, you know what, I don't need to become a part of the storm. And I make a conscious choice to try my best to not let my ego get involved. And when it does, I work really hard to move the ego aside and say, move me out of the way. My opinion is like every other opinion. There's everyone, you know what they say about opinions. And so that's opinions, but is that the truth is that the truth? Is that what's needed? And so what is needed of the highest good? What do we need to experience? What do we need to make sure that, we don't repeat again? And so from the place of the observer, you can observe your own life. And when you start to look at your own life, you're looking at yourself and you start to see that, am I being the monster? Am I the alien? What am I being to my story? You know, am I really truly that person? Who am I trying to be? So this was about, when you look at her, she's also the keeper of the universe. And that's what we're here to do. When we allow ourselves to be, when we allow ourselves to just be, when we allow ourselves to sit in the silence and in the awe of life, and then looking at the blessings and the opportunity, and to allow our soul self to speak for us. Is that's how I call it, my soul self. When I allow my soul self to speak to me, whatever that light is for you, when I speak with from that intention of unconditional love, when you can remove all conditions, you start to recognize how universal this, how the universe really is such a wide, vast, open space. We don't know what's happening. And so, because we don't know what's happening in, people's lives, we don't know the full story of anything. We can't see, what's happening everywhere. We we have to start opening ourselves up to say, you know what? Maybe there's a possibility I could be wrong. Maybe there's a possibility there's more to a story. Maybe there's a possibility that there's more happening. But when we see only to the end of our nose, when we don't look beyond our own one dimensional human existence, we start to live in a limited world. The observer, Shelta, she's about allowing yourself to live in a limitless world, to start to know that the world is much bigger than us. And every little thing that we keep picking up and picking out and picking on, because what I'm picking up is the sense that, I feel as if, or what if I feel as if I'm witnessing a world trying to perfect the world, as if we want to make the world perfectly to fit into a cookie cutter box. And by doing that, we're causing a whole lot more destruction. There's a lot more that is taking place that is more like, uh, like I guess I don't even, you're afraid to say words because your videos get deleted. And so it's like, it's just like everything is just it causes more explosion when we allow all these little nitpicking, criticizing, judgmental little things build up, or we start picking them out so that we can make people feel fearful to create a bigger problem. So what I'm witnessing and what I'm observing in the world is that what we're doing is we're not expanding the world right now. We're actually closing it in, and that we have to seriously look at things differently. And that was with my cards, was that when I sat to write the cards the first time, to write the book for the cards, is that I wanted them to tell a specific story, but the cards had a different story, and the cards have a new story. So I am now the observer of witnessing this whole experience, watching these cards come to life. Every time I come in here to speak about these cards, they tell a different story, and that's going to be your life. And I always say, it's like people come in, they see the one card, and they leave, and they're like, oh no, she's not going to read me today. She's not pulling cards, so I'm getting out of here. I'm moving. I'm getting out. And so, what are you missing out on by not getting that one want today? What if there's something more by staying in the experience, by being a part of an experience? So who would you be without what I wrote about the cards is, who would you be without a title, a label, a role to play? Who would you be if you could be free, to not have to be so censored, to not have to be so restricted, to not have to think that you weren't allowed to have your own mind, who would you be without that? So why are we labeling ourselves? Why are we identifying by a certain role? Or why do we identify people by an opinion, a label that we have because they have a different view than us? Why are we doing that to people? And why are we kind of trying to, you know, tamper with humanity in the way, in such an undignified way? And so we're not becoming kinder, we're becoming crueler. And that sounds like, oh my God, no, we're not. Yes, we are. And so from the place of, once we start to decide who we cancel, or we have a different view, or if we're, that's we are destroying people's dignity based on the fact that they're not playing the role that we are asking of them. Is it sure that is unsure, right? And it's like, we don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, that's kind of what I got today with the card, friends. And that's what I said. The card changes every day for me. And so I'm not writing all the message of the cards because I'm not ready to put out something that we have a whole world that has a whole lot of moving pieces right now. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And so and everyone else who's joining, hello, hello, hello. What's wrong with my spine? Well, I have a neurological condition, Annette, And I also have my vertebrae, 30 years of hairdressing, years of figure skating, car accident, all kinds of stuff. I am 50. Body has taken a toll. Um, and so when we look at all the moving pieces, I'm like, the cards are not ready for me to write a full story because I'm very unsure. And so I don't want to lay down. I don't want to lay down a specific rule. I want to observe what's happening. So without judgment, I'm observing. And so I'm allowing that to unfold right now. And so first, be you first. And that was what I wrote down, was this card is about truly being you. And it's like, yeah, maybe I'm an alien. maybe I'm a foreigner to myself. Like, maybe I don't know myself. Maybe you don't know yourself. Maybe you've been conditioned to believe who you are. And I mean, that's more than existing, is that I've been moving beyond everything of what I've been, labeling myself to be over the years. And what if we are not that? And so what if you can set yourself free and to just say, what if you can just be you? But what is you, right? If you could just be you, just breathe, and just not have to not to be able to say I'm this, I'm that, not to be able to say I support this, I support that. I'm just here, and I can just be. Why can I not just be here? Why can I not just enjoy this moment? Why can I not just enjoy existing right now? And so being able to breathe that through. And so from that place, where is she looking? She's looking she's looking in a direction of, maybe she's looking into a new perspective, looking at things in a different way. Maybe she's not following the same view everyone else is looking at. She's looking beyond her nose. She's looking way out there. There's got to be more to the story. And you can be free without having barriers, restrictions, restricting yourself based on an old value system, an old belief system, believing that there's a possibility that some of that old system, some of those core values that you hold so tight to, may not be correct for you anymore. They may be correct for someone else, but it doesn't mean that it's in alignment with you. And so would you be free? Would you feel free if you didn't feel as if you still had to look over your shoulder to speak, if you didn't feel like you still had to be pleasing somebody, if you didn't feel like you still had to justify behaviors, if you still didn't feel like, there's so many things, and I'm just using a wide range of things right now in this card. So when you look at when you look at this card, it's a 10, and 5 is transformation, right? And so in order for your life to transform, in order for you to make changes in your life, you have to be willing to look at yourself. You have to be willing to look at your own attitude, look at the way that you're reacting, responding. You've got to become the observer of your own life. You've got to look at and take ownership and responsibility for you. First, I read cards and then what the book says. Right, exactly. And so that's what I always say. It's like, I look at the cards, I feel the cards, I make a connection with the cards. And so that's what I'm doing with these, is that, yes, they're my creation. I've had them in pictures, I've had them on paper. They came to me a couple years ago, and we're now designing them. So if you look really up high and if you look in the top and you see that greenish kind of color there, if you look at her, when she was first there, I said she was kind of like the Mother Mary. She's the cloaked divine feminine looking in at us. And she's observing. She's observing you. She's not judging you. And so what if we could observe without judgment? What if you can observe life without judgment? What if you can observe yourself without judgment? And it is what it is, and it's not working for me, so I need to change it without criticizing, without being offended by everything, what if, because when we're so offended by everything, we're actually kind of judging ourselves in a lot of ways. First time I heard that, I'm like, what? But it makes a lot of sense. And so what if you can free yourself of judging yourself, of being so critical, of judging other people, to not, when your attitude is that you're pointing out everyone else's flaws and what's wrong with everyone else and what everyone else is doing wrong today and what everyone else is speaking wrong today, or when you feel the need to be a keyboard warrior to correct everybody and correct their words and to correct their beliefs and to tell them what an asshole they are for believing what they believe, before we're so quick to jump into that, if we stop to observe what's happening, and we start to look at how we are in that experience. So what's happening within me in this experience that I feel a need to jump on there, that I feel a need to get involved? What's happening within me? And so when you bring it all back to you and you start to observe your life, it's amazing. It's amazing what we start to be willing to face. And so, yes, and so power is another one. So we wrote out a lot of things to go with her as well. That goes beyond even the back of the cards. And so we named her, when we're looking at her, she's the woman without a title and a label. She is free. But we gave her a name because they all had to have names. So we named her Shelta. And so, and sadly, I don't know if I remember. Oh yeah. And so when we looked at her name, she became this name of strength. She's someone who makes you feel alive, and she can also shatter you. So there's so much happening in there, so much that is happening. Is she shattering a story? Is she shattering a belief system? Is she walking away? Is she walking towards? What's happening with her? And so so we see the beauty of her and all the galaxies that cannot attach to any emotion. So everything that's out there, even the angelic realm, is not attached to our emotions. The only place that we have emotions is in our own story. We are the emotions. And so only the human existence. Hello, everybody who's joining in. Everybody, we have a human existence, but the human existence is the place that has the emotional stories, because we have attachments, and we become so attached that we limit ourselves and we shut ourselves. We limit ourselves and we shut out the world. We shut out people, and we make enemies with people who really are never our enemies. We become our enemies with ourselves. We lose ourselves because we have such a sense of attachment, because we have a sense of entitlement, and we also have a sense of belonging. So we get so mixed in and blended. But if you could let go, and I always say emotions lie, right? There's that whole sense that your emotions are triggers that take you to the past. So because you have experienced something in the past that makes you feel the way you feel, you automatically connect it to that has to be what's happening again right now in your life. And that's how we get stuck. And so everything that's out there do not have an emotional attachment. They're here for the highest good, to do the right thing for the right reasons. So the dog reacts with the one word, the word emotions, right? And so those little dogs are little healers. And so it really truly is about being able to um, let go of it all. Let go of it all. And understanding that let go of it all means that it got to come home to you. You got to bring it back to you. You kind of got to become like a foreigner to your own life. Like say, I don't know who, maybe I don't know who I am. Maybe I don't know what I want. Maybe I've been searching so hard and I've been trying to control everything. I've been so in control of this life. What happens if we let it go? And she's also, that sense of longing. And what is she longing for? Is she longing to return home? Is she longing to belong? Is she longing for love? What is happening? So the reason why I'm giving you all of the things that I'm picking up in the picture is so that you can connect to what Shelta makes you feel like, what you feel like in the presence of her card, what you're getting from her. And so that this is with the cards, we'll have these. They're going to be based on like an attitude, what you're feeling that day. And so that you don't get emotionally attached to anything specific, is recognizing, okay, if I'm acting like this today, if I'm having this action reaction, if I'm behaving this way today, what have I got happening within me? And to be able to move beyond that. So I feel like I didn't have so much responsibility due to my past life. Would be a lot different, different. My soul feels like it, looking for a change, might need a reading soon. Yeah, right. And so it's true. It's like so when you look at the responsibilities and how much responsibilities are laid on us, and your past history, your upbringing, your belief system, your values, the countries we grow up in, everything impacts how we view the world and how we form our opinions and our thoughts. But if we could let all of that go, If we can move beyond that, maybe we can start to listen to wisdom. We learn knowledge here. We gain knowledge, and human knowledge has ego in it. Human knowledge, when taught to us in schools, when taught to us anywhere, in history books, wherever it is, even in the Bible, it is written by people, and then it's re-edited and readjusted and done again and done again. Wisdom, when you're listening to the higher self, comes without ego. It has no attachment to your emotions. It has no attachment to your past. It has no attachment to your future. It's right here, right now. What do I need right now? And what needs to be done right now? And so this is also about strength. And when we have the strength to kind of step away and not feel a need to have to put in our opinion, not to justify our truth or to justify why we are truly standing in our own truth. When we know our truth to be true for us and we're standing in it, then we don't have to justify it, but we also have to be open-minded. And I always say dignity and respect are not the same. They're kind of, but they're not. So, if we were to you earn respect. So we earn respect. Dignity, we should treat everybody with dignity. Every human upon this earth, every animal deserves dignity but respect is earned. And so we can respect each other, in the way of saying, I respect that we have a difference of opinions, but we don't have to be, and we can respectfully disagree. We can respectfully, but that dignity, we've lost that in human nature, in humanity right now. And that's what we need to start bringing back. So I want to pull another card, because I heard she has a sister in here, and we've already done this card. So this card was in week 4, and she was Frida. And I'm like, she has a sister. Whoop. And so this was her sister, and she's the stargazer. And so we already pulled her, but I just heard, could you shuffle and could you bring me in? So I listened and I brought her in. And this is Freda, she's the stargazer. And when we're in alignment, when we truly understand the Trinity, when we understand our mind, body, soul connection, when we understand our life force energy and how we are so not in control the way we think we are, when we understand that we have our individual self, and we have our soul self, and we have our higher self, there's so many parts of us. When we can learn to bring it home to us and come into alignment, it's amazing how different we react, we respond, and how we behave in situations. And so in order to bring peace, true peace, is about being able to observe and to be an observer and a witness to the experiences. It's about being able to reach out and ask for wisdom instead of being always into the knowledge that's here. We have so much that is happening that our minds are in overdrive all the time. And to be able to step out of our heads and to be able to just let everything go quiet, let everything just not stop in a thought, not let a thought get in, just learn to just close out everything and just allow an experience to happen is the most amazing thing you can do for you. And once you can start to do that, you start to realize how important it is to not be so attached to outcomes, so attached to expectations, and so attached to your emotional stories and the personal history of the past. To be able to move beyond that and not so determined to be attached to having to see what's coming next. When you start to let go of those attachments, life changes. So I hope this helped you in some way today. Thank you for staying. Thank you for being here with me and for joining. And we will continue with these cards tomorrow. I will be back. Like I said, hopefully tomorrow I'll be 100% again, back to myself. And we are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So you'll see people in here that you're seeing on one, not on the other. So welcome everybody. And I hope to be back doing my full big sessions, my 1 hour sessions this week. So yes, close your phone for a day and a week. Yeah, exactly. That's true, right? Yeah. So thank you all, and I will see you again tomorrow. I will be in earlier tomorrow. I'll be back in the morning, just not sure exactly what time, but I'll be back in the morning to do the morning card. And I will see you all then. Much love. Bye bye.